Have you ever dreamed of owning a slice of Italian history for less than the cost of a morning latte? I'm Carl Pierre, a serial entrepreneur and international real estate investor, and I've turned that dream into my reality. Living globally and affording it isn't just a dream, it's my life's motto. Now I'm taking you on a journey through the cobblestone streets of Mussomeli, Sicily, where my latest adventure with a €1 house is unfolding.
Welcome to my house.
From my vision for the property and the dirty renovations, I'm here to show you the raw and real side of international property investing. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Join me as we peel back the layers of a property with stories etched into its very walls. Are you ready to be a part of this story? So let's dive into the heart of Sicily, a small town by the name of Mussomeli with rich history and dripping with charm. How did this entrepreneur from across the sea land a house here for just €1? It's all about opportunity and navigating the Italian real estate renaissance, where forgotten homes await a new life. Mussomeli's €1 house scheme is a shout out for visionaries ready to restore the rustic beauty of these hidden gems. The way that I found out about this program was actually my brother. He sent me an article from CNN that said that they were selling homes in Italy for just €1. And he got this idea like, you know what would be really cool if we bought a home there, built out our own vineyard and bottled our own wine. That's kind of his MO. But for me, I've been a real estate investor since 2006 and it seemed interesting. I missed out on the opportunities for €1 homes in the United States. And I believe there's still towns that you could buy homes for like $1,000 or $5,000. But I felt like buying a house for €1 would make for an interesting story, especially buying a house in Italy that is obviously romanticized. Italy, for a lot of people, is a place on their bucket list just to visit. So imagine having a house there that you could make your summer home or call home for yourself. For me, that was the thinking. I was like, you know what? I can't lose. If I'm buying a house for $1, what's the worst that could happen, right? So in following through with this article, I saw that there was a real estate agent listed and the town was Mussomeli. So my thinking was contact them, schedule an appointment, and head out there to check out property. And that's exactly what I did. And what ended up happening on my first run is that I didn't buy a €1 home because most of the €1 homes were in really bad shape. Anything that was decent already got bought up, and the ones that I saw for €1 were a mess. So what I ended up doing was buying premium homes, and these premium homes were still cheap, right? I got one house for €5,000, which I featured here on the channel, and my other house for €12,000. Now there were different sizes. The $5,000 home is about 500 square feet, 1-bedroom house. And the thing that I liked about it is that it's on the corner, so it has 2 exposures of light, and it's really close to the main piazza. The $12,000 home, what I liked about that house is that it was larger. It was about 1,100 or so square feet, 3 levels. It could house my family, and it has like a nice view of like the cliffs that are there, and also parking right out front. So you have access to the roads, you could park your car right in front of the house. It seemed way more livable, while the smaller house seemed like a fun project to take on. So in doing all these renovations on these homes, I noticed that the house next door to my $12,000 house was vacant. And I reached out to the real estate agent and said, hey, you know what? If I could get that house for €1, I would buy it. She presented the offer to the owner. She looked up the owner, she found the owner and said, hey, this guy is looking to buy this property. Are you willing to do it for €1? The owner agreed and I backed out. Because I already had 2 properties and I was thinking, you know what, why am I gonna buy a third one? I haven't even finished renovating my first 2. So I passed on it and somebody else came along. And the thing about this that makes this a really unique story is that after 2 years, the person who had agreed to buy it for €1 decided to back out. Mainly because he didn't feel that he was going to renovate it and it was kind of an impulse buy, and ended up bringing it back to market. So the agent reached out to me and said, hey Carl, you know the €1 house that you were asking about next door? It came back to market. Do you want to buy it? And at that time I was already done with my projects and I was like, you know what? Absolutely. I think that I could combine these 2 homes, kind of creating like a doorway between the main house and my house, and expand into it. And like I said, I really like the location. So for me, it was a no-brainer to add this to my portfolio of homes in Mussomeli. Now let's talk about the condition of this house. My €1 house isn't just, a building. It's a time capsule that has seen much better days. Actually, when I posted it originally, most people claimed it was a haunted piece of garbage. But for me, this crumbling facade and the antiquated rooms are ready for transformation, ready to merge historic authenticity with contemporary comfort, which is more or less my style. So walking on in, it's quite clear that we got a mess on our hands. Now, since this is the lower level, I'm going to connect it to my other unit, and this is going to be mostly common space. I really like this archway here, and I'm going to keep that in the future design. Heading on upstairs, it's still a mess, but you start to see exactly what sort of life this has. Right off this room here, you have what used to be a balcony, but it will let in tons of natural light. And head on over to the other side, there's another space that we could use. Upstairs is the attic. It's dingy, it's gross, and we have a lot to do here. But I'm a firm believer that this isn't a piece of junk, that it can be brought back to life. And to be honest, it's all quite worth it to live in the countryside of Italy. So when it comes to restoring this is what I have in mind. With these 3D renderings, we're not just renovating, we're looking to transform this thing. This is where the past meets the present, and you, my friends, get the first glimpse of what I have planned. Since the town is so brown, I want to bring in some color and some charm to it. Heading on inside, this may look a little familiar to you, but we're going with the same design aesthetics that I'm using on my coastal house. It's the same architect, so we're using the same color scheme to try to keep it simple, the same sort of design aesthetics. I like simplicity. It's going to be the same contractor, so it's going to be easier for him to kind of achieve my goals. These are all the images that I have in mind. And right off of the main room here, we're gonna have another bathroom. So there's a half bathroom downstairs and one upstairs. And last but not least, a wonderful rooftop terrace where I could barbecue and spend time with my family. What do you guys think? The transformation is underway, and soon this €1 marvel will be ready to make history once again. But that's not the end of the story. There are more tales to tell and more homes to explore. Head on over to cheaphousesinitaly.com to catch a glimpse of the future, a future that you might just be part of. Stay tuned, and remember, investing in real estate isn't just for the elite, it's for the bold, the creative, and for you. Hit the subscribe button, keep watching, and let's make history together.